Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to SATV Talk Show, where we discuss the current events of the world as well as the country. Tonight, let's warm welcome our distinguished guest, Islamic Republic Pakistan's High Commissioner to Bangladesh, His Excellency Mr. Ahmed Maruf, to our show. Welcome to our show, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Maruf was born in Quetta. He holds a master's degree in statistics from University of Balochistan. He has also enhanced his expertise in negotiation skills, and sir is very eloquent in Spanish as well. And he actually started his career as a diplomat in the year 1996 and has served in key roles in different missions of Pakistan, namely Nairobi, Birmingham, Kathmandu, London, and as well as New York. Since October 2023, he is representing Pakistan as High Commissioner over here in Bangladesh. We will discuss about the Pakistan-Bangladesh relationship and the practical instances that get into this relationship. My first question to you, you have a 45-minute meeting with our Honorable Chief Advisor, and there you have discussed that we will be going forward. So what was the outcome of this meeting and how you foresee?
So first of all, again, thank you very much for having me on your show. We had a very productive discussion. That was my first interaction ever with Dr. Yunus, and that was also the first time that I saw him up front and close and personal. You know, I had heard a lot about him, and I found him to be really very energetic and very positive about his country. The points that we discussed were mainly, about taking the bilateral relations between our two countries in the economic and trade domain. That was agreed that is one area where we are going to push the things forward. And probably you must have observed over the last few months that economic and trade relations has been the main thrust of our bilateral relations. And that's what we discussed during Dr. Yunus's during my interaction with Dr. Yunus, and also the people-to-people contact and cultural relations. So these 4 or 5 areas were the ones that we discussed at length, and we agreed that these will be the areas in our economic and in our bilateral relations. And we also discussed SAARC. As you are aware that SAARC was born here, was the idea of Bangladesh, and Dr. Yunus is very passionate about the SAARC itself, the SAARC process. And he is championing the cause of, taking the SAARC forward. And we also agreed during that discussion that Pakistan will fully support Dr. Yunus's efforts in reviving the SAARC process. And so these were the 4 or 5 areas which we discussed. And ever since that meeting, we have been, our two countries are mainly engaging in economic and trade relations. Because we believe that, for any long-lasting bilateral relation between any two countries, I think economic and trade relations play a key role. Those should be at the foundations of the overall bilateral relations between any two countries. So that is my concept. That has been my government's, idea of taking the bilateral relations with Bangladesh forward. And I'm really happy to share with you that we have received a very, reciprocity in this context. I mean, the government of Bangladesh has been forthcoming in that area, and recently we had few trade delegations visiting Pakistan, official as well as private. So things are looking up for us, for both our countries, for economic and trade relations. But that doesn't mean that everything will be restricted to economic and trade relations. There are other areas as well, which will be also moving forward in tandem. But the main thrust is going to remain to be the economic and trade relations, people-to-people contact, and the cultural relations.
As you were mentioning the trade relations, like India has a trade of 12 billion, over 12 billion with Bangladesh. And it was in the year 2023. And Bangladesh export to India was merely 2 billion. So there is a big trade imbalance between India and Bangladesh. The major discontentment among the mass, the principal discontentment about in the mass is about the trade imbalance between Bangladesh and India. Pakistan has quite imbalanced trade as well. In the year 2022, Pakistan's export to Bangladesh was 839 million, where Bangladesh export to Pakistan was around 74 million, to be honest. So there is a big gap as well. For the sake of normalizing the trade, we need to, eradicate this gap of imbalance, to be honest. So
that's a very good question, actually. And I will leave Bangladesh, India. That's not my subject. But Pakistan-Bangladesh relations, yes, I agree that there is a trade imbalance. And the imbalance can only be addressed when there is a export from Bangladesh as well. The reason that it's been a lopsided, more coming from Pakistan and very less items going to Pakistan from here, it indicates that Bangladesh is exporting less to Pakistan and Pakistan exporting more to Bangladesh. So we need to create environment where basically both the countries. I mean, the Bangladesh exports are Bangladesh exports its products to Pakistan, and we always talk about like when our delegation was here, and it was basically we were kind of our people when they were here. They were like they wanted to sell their product to Bangladesh. Okay. I mean, they are here to show their products, find markets in Bangladesh. Likewise, at every meeting, at every point, wherever I have a chance, I urge Bangladeshi private sector, also the government sector, why don't we talk about your exports to Pakistan as well? You need to start exporting. If you start exporting to Pakistan, certainly this trade imbalance is going to be addressed. And since for a long time there was complete disconnect, almost disconnect between the two countries, now since the connections are reviving and things have begun to move forward, I anticipate that in the coming months and years, this trade imbalance will be addressed. It all depends on what Bangladesh has to sell and how willing the Bangladeshi exporters are to sell to Pakistan. And if their products can be sold in Pakistan, I think that makes perfect sense that the Bangladeshis products have a market, especially in the jute area, jute and several others, pharmaceuticals, for example, exactly. The drugs, the cancer drugs, and so on and so forth. But since we have remained kind of disconnected, so there wasn't much interaction. But I would also encourage the Bangladeshi business people, like our delegation came here, they should go to Pakistan, show their products, find the buyers there, and start exporting. So unless you start exporting to Pakistan, you cannot address this imbalance. It's all about how much you are selling us and how much we are selling you. So it's a very simple equation.
For that, you need a simple visa procedure as well. So I hope they will get a good.
Absolutely,
simple,
actually,
visa.
The visa regime has been fairly streamlined. There are two categories of visas. One is the business visa, the other is the tourist visa. You can apply online. Mm-hmm. You don't have to come to the High Commission. It's free of cost. And the visa is issued within 24 hours. It comes in your email. You take a printout, or you don't even have to take a printout. Just keep it in your smartphone, and wherever you go, just show to the immigration. And it's within 24 hours. So visa regime has been fairly streamlined. So there is no restriction for any Bangladeshi business or a tourist to travel to Pakistan.
Thank you, sir.
So that actually facilitates the business contacts.
Wow. Sir, you were mentioning about the people-to-people connection. That people-to-people connection, love and affection is evident on the shared admiration of cricket, fashion like salwar kameez, kurtas, and even in the cultural exchange as well. Singers, drama artists and all that. Even different artists, they have admiration for each other. Let me give an example of people-to-people love and affection that these two citizens do have. A gentleman called Mr. Kamran Shahid bin Usmani, in a public gathering, interestingly, though he works for both the nation's youth, he said that if in case of any intervention in Bangladesh or external aggression, I'm quoting him, that you should consider our atomic bomb as your atomic bomb. So that's the kind of love and affection that they share, these people. If we consider the people-to-people love, connection and affection. So my question to you, whether the Pakistani establishment shared the same love and affection as the people of both the countries share?
Well, we do share the same kind of love and affection, but the kind of, the sentiment that the gentleman is showing, I think that's a little too high. But otherwise, I mean, why not? I mean, we are doing so good we have actually already started doing so good in economic and trade relations, cultural relations, and so on and so forth. Certainly, the government of Pakistan has more or less similar kind of sentiments.
We have some Urdu spoken population that resides in Dhaka and different corners of the country. They came over here during the reign of Ayub Khan. Especially these people belong from Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. These are Urdu spoken people. They used to live an inhuman life. I won't deny that. But later on 2003 and 2008, they filed a writ petition to the Supreme Court, to the High Court division, and for the basic amenities, like passport and national ID card. And our High Court division ruled in favor of them and said whoever
in 2008, I guess,
in 2003 and 2008, and High Court division gave the verdict. They gave the verdict that those who are born over here is entitled to get passport, entitled to get national ID card. And on the basis of that judgment, and to be honest, the government of Bangladesh didn't appeal in the Supreme Court. They abide by the judgment. They got the passport, now they're getting medical access, now they're getting primary education. So now they're into the mainstream citizenship. So that's how we have treated them during the last decade. Similarly, a bigger population from Chittagong, that's in the south of the country. These are basically fishermen. There's a camp in Karachi.
Yes.
They live over there.
I remember not a camp. They are all over Karachi.
They're all over Karachi. These are Bengali people. These are poor people, sir. These are basically, they were brought over there just because of their skills. They know how to fish. That's the skill was. They live a very inhuman life. They denied of basic medical access as well. They're suffering, sir, over there. The thing is, the Prime Minister Imran Khan, while he was in election rally, the immediate past Prime Minister, he actually promised them that he will give them the citizenship. But I don't know, for populist pressure, he wasn't able to deliver. But sir, they're poor people, sir. So they're living a very inhuman life without basic medical amenities.
I think...
so is there any plan, sir? Is there any plan to integrate them into the Pakistan society?
You see, that's again a very important question that you have raised, and we see it as it's one of the kind of a humanitarian issue as well. And first of all, it's good that let me start by the Biharis here. I think that has been a good step, and it's a right step in integration of them in the Bangladeshi society. In Pakistan also, I think you have slightly overstretched it, and they are like living in inhuman conditions and so on and so forth. They are everywhere.
So there are documentaries in Al Jazeera and BBC
that
they're not getting the medical assistance, that they're struggling.
No, I mean, it's not like a perfect environment for them, but it's not like so much of situation as you have described. I would agree. I would kind of slightly disagree with you on that. They are into the businesses. They have their colonies, and they are doing small businesses. They have been there for so many years, but of course, it will take time. I mean, there has to be a final, gradual integration of them, or some kind of arrangement, so that this humanitarian issue is addressed. But all said and done, I think, again, referring back to these years when we were like not so connected with each other at the government level and so on and so forth. And I think we have made a good start, and inshallah in the coming months and years we will see something gradually happening, and some kind of settlement takes place for those in Karachi as well. And let's see how it pans out in the coming months and years, but certainly we are aware of the situation.
So now we will go on a short break. Ladies and gentlemen, we are listening to the High Commissioner of Pakistan, and we are going to the insights of our relations. So we are going on a short break. Do come back after the break. Welcome back. Talk to SATV. We came back from the break. Now we will talk about the medical visas and the medical tourism. We know that Pakistan has significant, advancement in medical, amenities and medical treatments, particularly in kidney transplant and cancer care. And Bangladesh produces affordable and high quality cancer medicines, chemotherapies, as well as other medicines as well. We're exporting medicines to the Europe as well as in USM market. So there is a vast majority of people in Bangladesh, especially belong from the middle class. They go to the neighboring countries for treatments. So because they believe that over here there is a malpractice among the medical practitioners, so they have a disbelief in the medical system. It's not that we are not able to treat all of them. So, but they go for better treatment because they're ill. These people, these are poor and marginalized people as well. belong from the middle class as well. So, do you have any plan to arrange a medical tourism expo?
Well, let me begin my answer to this question by telling you that we already have this stream of medical tourists traveling to Pakistan in the last few months.
Okay.
And on average, there are like 15 to 20 tourists traveling to Pakistan. Mostly they are looking for kidney transplant or liver transplant. And recently, well, not so recently, maybe like 2 months ago, the government of Pakistan designated around 28 hospitals in Pakistan as suitable for international medical tourists. Those hospitals are mainly situated in Karachi, Lahore, and Islamabad and Peshawar.
Okay.
So it's not, those hospitals are not limited to kidney and liver. They are dedicated for, I mean, any kind of ailment that one could possibly have. Those hospitals provide the treatment. So yes, I think in the coming months we are actually thinking of organizing a medical tourism roadshow here in Bangladesh, certainly. And but the thing is that the ground is already there. People are willing and able to travel to Pakistan. For several reasons, apart from the quality treatment that they get, they also feel being at home. I mean, there is no cultural issues for them. They know they will get everything. It's like being in your own country and being treated. So that that cultural, they don't feel that cultural barrier, which is very important. I mean, it's not just the patient; it's the attendants who travel with them, the family members. So they have to spend good 1 month or so in that hospital, around that hospital. So they also, while the treatment is going on, they also need to feel at home, you know. So that cultural affinity and the cultural similarities, that is also is a plus point for them to travel to Pakistan for the treatment. So yeah, I think it's happening already, and it just needs a little more of streamlining and bringing about more awareness among the Bangladeshi people who need to be treated in Pakistan. So roadshow is on the cards, and it's going to happen.
Direct flight is another obstacle that we do have.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because we were talking about medical tourism, but even for tourism, because lack of direct flight from Islamabad to Dhaka. So these are the major obstacles. So interestingly, with that money, the people, with that money, they could end up in Europe rather than being in Pakistan, because that much higher the fare is.
Is it that high?
Yeah, it's very high.
Really?
It's very high, the airfare to Pakistan. So,
I think Europe would be little anyway.
Yeah, but if you bought the ticket a bit earlier, you could get that. You could get that. On that money, you could end up in Europe. Yeah. So what about the direct flights between Dhaka and Islamabad?
I think it's something which is very close to my heart, resumption of direct flights. There used to be direct flights until I think 2017.
PIA used to run direct flights.
PIA still has its imprint here. Everybody asks about when is the PIA starting and so on and so forth. Actually, at this point in time, both our sides are engaged in finding ways and means to resume the direct flights between Pakistan and Bangladesh. And at this point in time, I can only say that it is definitely going to happen, inshallah. It is going to happen. And my ambition is to make it happen in 2025. And if you take it one notch further up, before the mid of 2025, that is what I am thinking of. That's my wish, that is my desire. And both our sides are actively working on it. And once that direct flights start, that is immediately, bring the costs down. The travel time also will come down drastically. I mean, the direct flight between Dhaka, Karachi, or Lahore, or Islamabad is hardly 3 hours. Like, you can have a breakfast here and lunch in Pakistan, or maybe come back and have dinner in Dhaka again.
That's wonderful.
So, I mean, it makes perfect sense that we need to have direct flights now. And obviously also for the medical tourists, it will be a big relief. They start traveling directly to Pakistan. So, fingers crossed.
Let's hope for the best.
It's going to happen.
Inshallah. Professor Shoaiduzzaman, renowned academic from Dhaka University, he suggested that deploying a limited number of nuclear missiles could serve as strategic deterrent to enhance our defense capabilities, especially for Bangladesh. We all know that we have a large airfield from British era. That's in northern part of Bangladesh, Lalmonirhat. It has capabilities. We know there was a defense expo in last November. Our team went over there. High-profile military officials, they basically, toured Pakistan last month about the J-17 Thunder, because our budget is low and we want good stuffs. So basically, these are affordable for Bangladesh as well. So to enhance the defense capabilities of Bangladesh, so these things could chip in. So how you see that we can enhance our defense capabilities with the cooperation with Pakistan, to be honest.
Well, I will make no comments on Shahid Saab's comments. Let's leave it aside. The rest of your question, I think it all depends what the Bangladesh government needs. And we have been having defense collaborations all the time in one form or the other, mostly focused on training. Our officers have been training here.
Staff colleges are sharing officers.
They're sharing their expertise, and they do train at each other's institutions. Staff College, National Defense University, and so on and so forth. It all depends, end of the day, what the government of Bangladesh needs. And if they reach out to us for any kind of assistance, that can be discussed and that can be, worked out depending on the requirement. But as of now, I think our main thrust of our bilateral defense relations is mainly is training at each other's institutions.
Furthermore, are there any plans to defense alliance with China and Bangladesh? Are there any plans?
That sounds very ambitious. Defense alliances. I don't think
that's what Indian media is narrating, to be honest.
Well, I don't have to make any comments. Anybody can make any speculation, but I can say that there is no such thing in the offing.
Mr. High Commissioner, I was listening to the interview of Emma Watson, a famous British actress. While she was in America for studying history, she said the way the history is taught in America is different, the way it's been taught in the British schools, because British history is about colonization, slavery and austerity. That's not been taught in UK. To be honest, we were mentioning about the people-to-people connection, the people-to-people love and affection. Whatever happened in 1971, how East Pakistanis were denied of self-determination and the genocide that went in, So isn't it viable, isn't it practical that if that we do teach our students the honest history, that what happened, the austerity measures that's been gone by, in East Pakistan, because had the powers been transferred to the people's representative, things could have been different. Does Pakistan feel the same way, that history should be taught honestly, so that this people-to-people contact, people-to-people love and affection, I was listening to an ambassador's interview, your predecessor's interview. He said that when Pakistan won a match against India, the vibrant, went on Bangladesh's street. That was wonderful. So they were very, happy about it. So they have love for each other. But if that's been underpinned with honest, learning of the history, wouldn't that, help us to connect people-to-people contact more effectively?
Well, certainly. I mean, both sides now, after so many years, it's been 54th year, I guess. I mean, if we teach honest history to our, or if we write our books, the history books with all the honesty, I think that makes perfect sense for the people of both the countries to understand what exactly happened. But then again, there is always a question, our history, what we write and you write in your honesty, and in what we write in our all honesty, might not exactly be aligned. It is possible, and there are many examples around the world, that different nations have their history, their own interpretation of history, and which may not necessarily align with the history of another country. So yes, I mean, there is absolutely no question about it that we should have honest, interpretation of history. But the question arises: does that interpretation actually align with the interpretation of the other country? So that also has to be factored in. But end of the day, I think this certainly is going to be kind of a, if I put it like this, that it will help in people-to-people context. Certainly it will help. It should help. It all depends if the histories align.
1971, it remains deeply emotional and sensitive chapter. to all the Bangladeshis, to be honest. Many Bangladeshis have long waited for an apology. You might refer to 1974 tri-party agreement that has been, decided over there. I was listening to an interview of your predecessor, Ambassador Rafiuzaman Siddiqui. He was saying that even he realized that all the Bangladeshis want is an apology. Even President Musharraf, when he visited over here, he regretted. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto regretted. Even Ziaul Haq regretted as well. But according to your predecessor, Rafiuzaman Siddiqui, he said that people over here, they want an apology. But he also mentioned that he doesn't know what language the apology would be. Did you ever try to know, sir, what is the people's demand, that in what language they want an apology? Because I've seen so many Pakistani political leaders even, they regretted about the events of 1971. But the question boiled down to one question, whether Pakistan will have an official apology. Even I don't know what language that apology will come. Isn't this a right time or proper time for the sustainable friendship, for the sustainable cooperation? We should think about it. That how do we approach this issue?
No, absolutely. There are certain things that I mean, to begin with, this 71 thing are both sides want to be put in the decided, finished, done, dusted. We want to leave it behind. Both sides want to leave it behind. And how to leave it behind? There are debates, there are discussions that happen between our two sides. There is a certain point of view that we hold, and there is a certain point of view that the Bangladesh side holds. The bottom line is both sides want this thing to be consigned to history, close this chapter. How to close it? That is actually the question, how this chapter can be closed. And we are in our official discussions and private discussions, we do talk about it, and we share our thoughts. Bangladesh side shares their thought, we share our thought. And I think, as you said, that this is the right time to do something about it. And we are actually engaged on that. And let's see how this pans out, how we are able to, bring our, how the stars are aligned between the two sides, so then we can close this chapter. And certainly, I mean, it's something that should no more be on the table. It should be off the table by mutual agreement, mutual understanding. As for your question about what should be the language, there isn't any indication from either side what would be the language. It is just it's very open, it's very broad. It's just there is no it hasn't crystallized into anything which one can share. But certainly we are talking about it, and we want this thing off the table, both our sides.
So now we will go on a short break. Ladies and gentlemen, we are listening to the High Commissioner of Pakistan, and we are going to the insights of our relations. So we are going on a short break. Do come back after the break. Welcome back. Talk to SATV. We came back from the break. We faced some similar challenges in poverty, and corruption, climate change, free trade, and most importantly, as you were mentioning, that when we were discussing, you were discussing with our chief advisor, that he mentioned about the SAARC. SAARC is the most least integrated, in SAARC, it's most least integrated areas of the world, to be honest. One of your foreign minister said that even the African Union is more effective than the SAARC. It's a dead horse. You need so much wiping to gallop, to be honest. But it's very important for the stability of the region as well as economic advancement of the region. So how does Pakistan could help Bangladesh to revive SAARC? Because SAARC's been South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. So how can Pakistan help us to revive SAARC, and what role Pakistan do want to revive SAARC, to be honest?
Let me start by saying, I always quote this example wherever we talk about SAARC. Practically, you can travel from Cox's Bazar on the train all the way up to London Euston Station. How?
How wonderful.
Bangladesh is connected with India. India is connected with Pakistan. Pakistan is connected with Iran. Iran is connected with Turkey. and the Turkey is connected with the rest of Europe all the way to the UK. We just need to open our doors, and this could be a marvel of this century, probably the longest train journey. If you imagine, starting from Cox's Bazar, ending up in Euston, passing through Pakistan, India, Pakistan, Iran, and so on, and also up north towards Central Asia. Connectivity, of course, as you said, that SAARC is the least integrated area, and it's a dead horse and whatever you said. But my take on SAARC is that no matter what happens, no matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter how pessimistic you could be about SAARC, none of us can escape SAARC process.
In the United Nations General Assembly, your former Premier, Imran Khan, raised the issue about the Rohingya ethnic cleansing. He brought the issue to the General Assembly. So Bangladesh is having humongous refugee problems from Myanmar, to be honest. So considering the former stance of Pakistan in case of Afghanistan, establishing peace in Afghanistan, they have played a significant role, key role, principal role, and the force has been withdrawn under the stance of or the aid of Pakistan, because they negotiated between the groups. Will Pakistan help us in initiating a move towards respected repatriation of Rohingyas, to be honest, dignified repatriation of Rohingyas, because these are vulnerable people. They're having an inhuman life over there. So how could Pakistan help to create awareness among the international community that ethnic cleansing and genocides that's been happened to them? How Pakistan could chip in, and whether, considering their previous stand in Afghanistan, could they be could they come forward to negotiate, and could they bring the key players over here, even China, or they could arrange a repatriation process? How they could help, to be honest?
First of all, I think the example of Afghanistan does not really relate to what is happening. Those are two very different geographical regions, very different historical perspectives. So I think Afghanistan is not a good example here, but certainly Rohingya is an issue. It's a humanitarian issue. It's a great humanitarian disaster, if I put it like that. And certainly the international community has to come forward, and there has to be a permanent solution of this issue. And wherever Pakistan can chip in, certainly we would be more than willing to help in any which way we can for the settlement of this issue. But I agree. I went to Cox's Bazar. I just saw the glimpse of those camps. It's 1 million plus is a big number. It's like a medium-sized city, and the conditions in the camps, those are obviously not perfect for the refugees. But then end of the day, that's how much you can do, no?
During press conference on January 22nd, Indian External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar, he basically mentioned having a brief discussion about Bangladesh with the Trump administration. Considering the historical context, including incidents such as the 10 trucks, arms and ammunition case in Chittagong, India, raised the concerns that having a good relation with Pakistan, there is a possibility of propagate militancy over there. Even they have how Indian media has narrated over there. Is it the relics of the past, or is it the realities or past realities that has been superimposed on you and us as well? So what is it, and what's your steps, to be honest,
let me put it
regarding the narratives and the propagandas that's been going on, and that is a hindrance towards our mutual friendship and cooperation. How do you think that?
We would not react as long as Pakistan and Bangladesh are confident in their relations. We need not to be worried about any third party. If Bangladesh government and Pakistan government, people of Bangladesh, people of Pakistan, we are confident of our relations, we are okay with our relations, then there is no need to worry about the propaganda that happens.
So Bangladesh has a demand for food imports, particularly rice, wheat and onions. There is a famous quote of Franklin D. Roosevelt that the only things we have to fear is the fear itself. We have a fear in this community that because of the political tensions, if the exports from India is somehow closed, then there will be price hike. In the coming Ramadan, the price of the essential commodities will rise. So considering the practical instances, it takes like 14 days to goods to reach from Pakistan to Bangladesh, considering the distance and all the practical instances. Whereas with India, it needs like less than 14 hours. So we need a continuous supply, to be honest. So this is why what procedures or steps that Pakistan is taking to ease the trade gap, to ease the trade so that exports and imports could be easier and faster. And we need continuous support as well, because this population is in fear that if the political tension rises, if somehow import and export is closed with India, then there will be price hike, there will be destability in the region. You must have talked with it with our government quarters as well. Certainly. So how we could ease this process so that import could be easier, and definitely you need to have like lesser tariffs, custom tariffs, or easier customs procedures that aid as well to keep the price in a minimal level as well. So how Pakistan is thinking about this issue?
Let me begin my answer by saying that any country should ideally have more than one source of imports. If you diversify your imports, then you minimize the risks. But if your imports are not diversified, then you feel the kind of pressure that you are mentioning.
We want to diversify. This is why we're looking towards you.
Yeah. So that's my initial statement. Having said that, in the last couple of months, we have had very good productive, dialogue between our two countries, and you'll be happy to know that we have recently signed an MOU with the Bangladesh side for export of rice to Bangladesh. Likewise, we are also in the process of several other commodities that we are going to export to Bangladesh in the coming days. So Bangladesh should rest assured that when we make a commitment, we are going to fulfill the commitment. And the good thing is that we also have seen recently, the start of direct shipping between Pakistan and Bangladesh. You said 14 days and 14 hours. It's a very interesting contrast, but if there is a continuous stream of stuff coming in, then this 14 days and 14 hours doesn't matter. If the continuous stream of commodities is ensured, then that shouldn't be a problem, and that's what our two sides are actually working on it. And we have taken initial steps, and in the coming days you will see that inshallah this will be a continuous kind of stream of commodities coming from our side. And then you can also have commodities from other countries. So if you have diversified your imports, then as I said before, you minimize the risk. And I hope with this, the commodities coming from Pakistan, they will be helpful, greatly helpful in controlling the prices.
What about the plans for student exchange programs or scholarship to Pakistan? Is there any plan of Pakistani government to exchange students or provide scholarship to Bangladeshi students? Because a lot of Bangladeshi students want to go there and study. If scholarships been provided.
Yeah, absolutely. One is nearly kind of almost in its final stages. Like around 300 scholarships for graduate and postgraduate students from Bangladesh to study in Pakistani top-class universities in engineering, in medicine, in business administration, in public administration, in arts, fine arts, dramatics, so on and so forth. So at the moment the government is finalizing all that, and inshallah I think in a few months, not even a few months, maybe in a few weeks we will have this policy which we will announce, and that will be purely based on merit. And the Bangladeshi students would be welcome to study in Pakistan with fully funded scholarship. And before that, the Comstack and the University of Lahore, they have already announced scholarships for Bangladeshi students, and they are already applying for studying in Pakistan. And so this student exchange, especially students from here to Pakistan and Pakistani students coming to Bangladesh, that is actually happening, beginning to happen. And I think in a few months we will see those vacancies that have been identified in different universities for the Bangladeshi students. Those will be filled up by the Bangladeshi students. So fingers crossed, this is going to happen very soon.
Inshallah. Can I ask some personal question?
Please go ahead.
Well, can you tell us about your family? I know you're an artist, you make furniture, you're an artist. So do you get any inspiration from the nature or landscape from over here? Or how do you feel?
So
how your
first of all,
family feel?
Shall I tell you about the family?
Please.
Okay. I got married in year 2000. And in fact, I celebrated our silver jubilee on the 24th of Jan.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we have 4 kids. The eldest 2, they are studying in New York. The younger 2 are with us. Mostly my paintings are landscapes. Mostly landscapes. I did some in Brazil, did some in Kathmandu, Nepal. Anywhere I've been, I've done this, but I have yet to do some this painting work in Bangladesh. I haven't started yet.
We will be waiting.
Yes, definitely. I think I have to do it.
In Pakistan-Bangladesh relation in the next 5 years, and what benchmarks do you personally want to achieve while posted over here?
You know, my vision for the next 5 years for Bangladesh and Pakistan bilateral relations is that, our economic and trade relations become so robust, so deep-rooted, and so strong that that in the next 5 years, our trade, bilateral trade, is like in billions of dollars, many billions of dollars. Both the countries have invested in each other's country, and the trade relations are like everything. It's all buzzing. Everything is buzzing. The tourists are traveling across the countries. Bangladeshi tourists in Pakistan, Pakistani tourists in Bangladesh. There are cultural exchanges. We are exchanging movies. We are exchanging theaters. We are exchanging songs. I mean, short of being one country, we are doing everything. That's my vision for Bangladesh. Being the separate countries, of course, but otherwise so interconnected, so linked in so many ways. That is like long-term vision. Short-term, while I'm here, my objective, number one, at this moment, the immediate, is the resumption of direct flights. And while I'm here, I still have like slightly less than 2 years. Take the Pakistan-Bangladesh bilateral trade volume to from between 1.5 billion to $2 billion. And thirdly, this our summit meeting between our top leadership, a bilateral summit, either in Dhaka or in Islamabad. These are the 3 things that I want to achieve or do for our 2 countries. So this is my short-term or 2 years, vision. To try to achieve these 3 benchmarks.
Your Excellency, thank you so much for coming to our show. We are extremely happy that you joined us on SATV Talk Show, and throughout our discussion, different matters came in front, and the people in this country and around the world would know how Pakistan and Bangladesh people feel for each other and their endeavors as well for establishing international peace, security and brotherhood in the region as well as in the entire world. Thank you so much for coming to the show.
It was a pleasure being with you.
It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks to the viewers of SATV for watching our show. We will be back on the next week with another guest. Thank you so much. Till then, goodbye. Allah Hafiz.